Good evening, my name is Casper and today we are going to be talking about K, which is a 13-episode fantasy/adventure anime created by Gohans and released in 2012. It tells the story of Yashiro Isana, a normal high schooler attending Ashinaka High School. He's popular, a little forgetful, and for some reason a man named Kuro Yatogami is telling him that he is an evil king that needs to be slaughtered. While he tries to prove that he's not an evil king and therefore doesn't deserve to be murdered, there are two rivaling factions that also believe he is evil and are also after him. Oh, and his cat can turn into a person. So a lot of people complained that this was rushed in their reviews, and I can definitely understand why. I mean, the story itself already isn't original. Someone's being blamed for a crime they didn't commit, they're being dragged into something that is infinitely larger than themselves. The guy hunting him down starts to work to prove his innocence. Yeah, like we haven't seen that before. But when we usually see this story, we're typically given enough time to watch it properly develop. But in K's case, the entire ordeal is wrapped up in a total of 13 episodes, which isn't nearly enough time to flesh out a very convoluted plot that is full of kings and supernatural powers and a huge cast that you pretty much know nothing about, even though they make regular occurrences in just about every episode. It didn't really help that we were given screen time with characters that for all intents and purposes didn't mean jack shit to the plot. It did become a little irritating because it felt like time was being wasted in all of the wrong ways. In short, when it came to the character development, it was very messy. Now, I did understand what was going on in the plot. It was very convoluted, it was very rushed, but I wasn't left confused. I understood what was happening. They did explain a lot of the finer points, even if it was through very clunky exposition. It also wasn't a bad story. I feel like if they had just taken their damn time with this, it could have been a very entertaining anime. As it was, however, it was just way too much, way too fast. As soon as something happened, something else was happened, and you were never given enough time to fully process the information that you were just given, which was really just kind of like violently thrown in your face. That was really K's major downfall. That and the fan service. If you know my reviews and if you knew this anime, you knew this part was coming. I feel like as soon as Neko appeared on the screen, my enjoyment plummeted. I could go on and on about how the creators of K clearly do not respect themselves as creators, and they clearly do not respect their fan base. If they are relying on such cheap and lazy tactics to boost their audience instead of actually putting effort into their work, but I won't, because we've heard it all before, just like we've seen this garbage before. I do have to say that I found the fight scenes very well scripted and entertaining, however. While I didn't give a shit about the story itself, I did find myself looking forward to the short battles we were treated to every now and then. For all of the faults that the writing suffered, they definitely tried to make up. For all of the faults that the writing suffered, they clearly tried to make up for it with the visual quality, because holy shit, this is a stunningly gorgeous series. I especially want to point out the use of camera angles because they are just nothing short of spectacular. Whether it be rotating between characters, a lopsided view of an alley, panning around a scene, or a creative view of a fight to build hype for the scene, the animation team took a lot of risks and to create what I feel like was a very unique and creative visual experience. And I feel like every one of those risks paid off. This is something I absolutely want to see in future anime because this is creativity. We also have to touch base on the coloring in this series. Again, it's very creative, it's very unique, and I was absolutely in love. I mean, I don't even know how to describe this. It's not that I'm at a loss for words, I just feel like the English language has not prepared me enough to describe something like this. Obviously, the series uses a very cool color palette that is full of blues and grays and greens, with even the red magic that Homura uses being more of a magenta than a red. What's most intriguing about how they chose to color K, however, is definitely how it looks like there's almost like a filter on the screen at times. There would be a change in hue from one side of the screen than the other, but it wasn't always the same. Sometimes the top would be a little lighter and maybe more green tinged, and it would transition to more of a blue or kind of violet by the bottom. Or it would be darker on one side and lighter on the other. This was something that could get a little distracting at parts, but overall I feel like it was sort of the cherry on top, and it really created a one-of-a-kind atmosphere. And then there was the world design, which was phenomenal. The wood paneling had realistic textures, the water surrounding the school's island was crisp and sparkled, you could see the cracks in the weathering and the concrete walls and support pillars. The metal actually looked like metal, you could almost see the fabric's textures when looking at the drapes. You can see each and every individual leaf and stem in the plants and in the design of everything. There is an immense amount of detail. It's not just impressive, it is stunning. It really is. It's so clear that no amount of skill went wasted when creating each and every scene, because this is something that I would think of when I think of top tier visual quality. This is first-rate world design. I feel like the only other anime that would come even close to being comparable to K's visual style would be Death Parade, which I reviewed here. Actually, you know what? This almost looks like something that would be inspired by like Atlas, the game company, not whatever Atlas you may be thinking of. When it came to the character design though, I was a little on the fence. I liked the designs for the Homura crew a lot more because I feel like there was a little more diversity and creativity between each character than the other groups. The school uniforms for Yashiro's high school were cute, and the Sector 4 people had flashy outfits and their swords looked cool, but meh. And I just don't understand this lolly here. I mean, were they trying to hit the trifecta of fan servicey females by adding a random lolly character? Because that's kind of what it felt like. So as you can tell, I probably didn't enjoy K as much as I thought I would. I was absolutely awestruck by the visual quality of this anime. I will scream that from the top of a mountain. The coloring was stellar. I was blown away by the attention to detail in the world design, and the animation was on point. I also adored the soundtrack, which had a cool jazzy vibe to it, and most of the voice acting was pretty damn good. But that doesn't make up for a needlessly convoluted plot that moved way too quickly and was muddled by too many characters that just honestly didn't matter. Anyways, those are my thoughts on K. Have you seen it? Let me know what your opinions are in the comments below. Otherwise, you can find all of my social media as well as my Patreon in the description. Happy unbirthday, and I will see you later. Bye!